Grønland vil ikke ejes af USA. Grønland vil ikke styres af USA. Grønland vil ikke være en del af USA. Vi vælger det Grønland, vi kender i dag, og som er en del af kongeriget Danmark. Nu står vi med en geopolitisk krise, og hvis vi skal vælge mellem USA og Danmark her og nu, så vælger vi Danmark.
This is Greenland's Prime Minister Jens-Frederik Nielsen asserting that Greenland does not want to be owned by the United States. In response, US President Donald Trump has reacted sharply.
Well, that's their problem. That's their problem. I disagree with him. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
The escalation follows Trump's striking claim on January 5 when he said that owning Greenland is an absolute necessity for America's national security.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
This isn't the first time the United States has tried to buy the world's largest island. But this time around, Trump isn't taking no for an answer. So what's really going on here? Let's break it down. America's interest in Greenland goes back over a century. In 1867, the then United States Secretary of State, William Seward, explored purchasing Greenland. Then, in 1946, President Harry S. Truman offered Denmark $100 million in gold for the island. Denmark refused both the times. But here is what has changed. Greenland has transformed from a frozen wasteland into one of the most strategically valuable pieces of real estate on Earth. Climate change is melting Arctic ice, opening new shipping routes, and exposing vast mineral deposits. Greenland is enormous with over 800,000 square miles, yet only 57,000 people live there. It's been a Danish territory for over 300 years, though it gained self-governance in 1979 and controls most of its domestic affairs. Geographically, Greenland sits right between North America and Europe, making it a critical strategic location. It hosts the northernmost missile warning system and keeps a close watch on Russian and Chinese activity. So why does Trump need Greenland? 3 words: China, Russia, and resources. First is military strategy.
And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. And by the way, we don't want Russia or China going to Greenland, which if we don't take Greenland, you're going to have Russia or China as your next door neighbor. That's not going to happen.
As Arctic ice melts, new shipping lanes are opening that cut travel time between Asia and Europe by thousands of miles. Russia and China are racing to dominate these routes. Second is the rare earth minerals. Greenland sits on massive deposits of rare earth elements, the materials used for everything from smartphones to fighter jets to electric vehicles. Right now, China controls 70% of global rare earth production. Greenland could break that monopoly. So then, will Denmark give it up? The short answer, it's very uncertain. First floated buying Greenland in 2019, Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen called the idea absurd. This time, both Denmark and Greenland have been even more forceful in their rejections.
Jeg er enig i, at det er vigtigt, at der er sikkerhed og fred og tryghed i det arktiske område. Det er jo derfor en af grundene til, at vi er med i NATO. Grønland er også med i NATO. Det er et fælles ansvar for de arktiske stater herunder kongeriget at sørge for, at der er sikkerhed og fred og frihed i det arktiske område. Men Danmark har altid været en god allieret til USA. Det ønsker vi fortsat at være, men jeg bliver også nødt til at anholde noget af det, der bliver sagt fra amerikansk side, og vi vil selvfølgelig ikke affinde os med en situation, hvor man truer os og Grønland på den her måde.
Denmark has a constitutional obligation to Greenland and provides roughly $600 million annually in subsidies that make up to 20% of Greenland's economy. But beyond money, this is really about sovereignty. But here's where it gets complicated. Trump has suggested he might use economic force or tariffs to pressure Denmark. He hasn't ruled out military action, though he says he prefers not to use it.
Are you still thinking of military action there, or is there anything they can...
Where? Military?
Greenland. Greenland. Is there anything they can offer you for a deal?
If we don't take Greenland,
Russia or China will. And I'm not letting that happen. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland. And I am not going to let that happen.
Is there any deal they can offer you? Either like
Yeah, sure. I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland.
If he uses it, then things might get dangerous. Denmark isn't just any other country. It is a founding member of NATO, America's most important military alliance. The pledge of NATO is collective defense. That is, an attack on one is an attack on all. If the US pressures, threatens, or takes military action against Denmark over Greenland, it would shatter the foundations of the NATO alliance. And Denmark's Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, has issued a clear warning about that.
For det første, så mener jeg, at man skal tage den amerikanske præsident alvorligt, når han siger, at han ønsker Grønland. Men jeg vil også gøre klart, at hvis USA vælger at angribe et andet NATO-land militært, så hører alting op. Altså inklusiv vores NATO og dermed den sikkerhed, som er blevet tilvejebragt siden afslutningen på 2. verdenskrig.
Are you okay if that compromises NATO? If NATO effectively ceases to exist?
I'm doing a great job. I'm the one that saved NATO. I'm the one that got them to pay 5% of GDP. Wait a minute. It was 2%, and they didn't pay. Now they're paying 5%. I'm the one that saved NATO. You wouldn't have NATO if I weren't president.
Would you pull the U.S. out of NATO? Would you consider doing that?
Well, maybe NATO would be upset if I did it. Maybe NATO would save a lot of money. But I like NATO. You know, I just wonder whether or not if we needed NATO, would they be there for us? I'm not sure they would. You know, we spend a lot of money on NATO, and I'm not sure they would.
So can countries actually buy other countries' territory? Yes. Historically, nations have bought and sold territory many times. It is legal under international law, but it requires one critical thing. Both sides have to agree. One example is the US's Alaska purchase in 1867 from Russia. So what happens next? There are three possible scenarios. Denmark and Greenland say no, and the United States continue its existing military presence through Thule Air Base. Second is economic pressure. Trump could impose tariffs or other economic measures against Denmark that would strain relations between the US and Europe, creating a serious transatlantic rift at a time when unity against China and Russia is critical. Third is a military force. Any attempt to seize Greenland militarily would violate international law and could trigger the Article 5 of NATO Charter. For more such videos, subscribe to The Hindu's YouTube channel.